James Graham has returned from medical experimentation to make 41 tackles there. Roosters 48, Knights 10. Still no try for Ryan Hall, despite his side scoring an absolute plethora of them, but he did make 157 metres. It was the Raiders 20, West Tigers 12. Hodgson with a try assist and 44 tackles. Bateman with 3 offloads, and Whitehead was also prominent in this game. Cowboys 18, Rabbitohs 30. Still no Burgesses for the Rabbitohs, but their winning ways continues. Titans 18, Storm 38, and Seagulls 36, Eels 24. No debut yet for Callum Watkins, but maybe if the Titans keep being fucking diabolical, they'll think, hold on, let's give that international centre a go.
Maybe.
What's in the standings then?
Oh, sorry. So the Storm stay clear on 32 points, with South the closest chasers on 26 points. Roosters and Raiders both have 24 to complete the top 4. Manly have 22 points. Eels and Panthers have 20, with the Knights completing the top 8 on 18 points. Warriors and Broncos lead the chase, followed by the Sharks, West Tigers and Cowboys. Dragons, Bulldogs and Titans round out the table.
We had a fan viewing on another game this week. We teased it at the top. It's a game in the Northwest Counties Leagues. So do you want to take us through what game it was, who it was from, and what happened?
Yeah, so it was Newton Storm against the South Ribble Rabbitohs. And Leigh Whitnell got in touch to say arguably the biggest game in Rugby League on Friday night was a clash between two SLP titans. The Northwest Counties Shield semi-final clash between Newton Storm and South Ribble Rabbitohs open age. It was a full-blooded game with plenty of big hits, but the Storm booked their place in the final with a 24-4 victory.
Excellent. Good luck to the Newton Storm in that final then. And that is all the results from around the world of Rugby League absolutely covered. So we're now going to look ahead to the Challenge Cup semi-finals and final for the women. Right, Sarah, Saturday, big day. The Challenge Cup attacks Bolton, and we're going to be there.
We are.
I'll be there as the neutral. You'll be there full on supporting your Hull FC side.
Yep.
And that's the first of the two men's semi-finals against Warrington. It's a 2 p.m. kickoff. This is, of course, live on the BBC. And seeing as it's your side in a big game, I'll let you go first on this one.
Well, I'm backing us to get to Wembley again. I'm going to go for 21-14 to us.
Who do you think are going to be the key men in that game? I mean, putting any sort of one in there, that means Snide's going to play a big role. Yeah,
I think he'll drop a goal. We're going to have Kelly back for it's Kelly and Sneed back as half-back pairing, which works better than Connor. Not quite sure what we'll do with our centres, whether we'll put Connor straight into the centre, whether we'll put Griff into the second row. Yeah, not sure. The positive is that Radford said that we didn't pick up any injuries, which is good.
I was going to say any injury concerns. There's no suspension concerns, is there?
No, which was also a little bit of a concern, just because you just think it's not the time you want to get any suspensions, is it?
Yeah, Warrington, I'm not aware of any new injury problems for them either. Obviously, Akawala's missing suspension, and of the key players in their squad, Ratchford is still out, which is...
Well, I saw talk that Ratchford was going to be back.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is this going to be one of those mythical returns?
I don't know, because I think he got injured, did he, in the match we beat them at Warrington back in May.
And he was meant to be out for 3 months, I thought, but maybe the time frame has closed in and he might be back. I mean, he's a huge player for them. It could be a big difference maker. Mamo's been very good and also very bad at the same time, hasn't he? He's been involved in some good attacking moves, but he's had some big defensive errors that have cost the wire in games as well. So
yeah, I mean, I do think Ratchford actually is quite an underrated player for Warrington. I'm gonna
pick Warrington. I'm gonna pick Warrington by 7. So you've gone for Hull FC by 7. I've gone for Warrington by 7. I think the drop goal will come from Deck Pattern, but I think it will be when Warrington already have a clear lead. So I'm going to go 25-18 in favour of the Wire. And I think some of the players that we talked about not sparking very much recently, I think they're going to come to the fore. I think we're going to see Curry, Hughes, Cooper and Clark have big games. Players that have kind of fallen back a bit from where they were earlier on in the season. And I also think Darryl Clark is going to have a really big game on a big stage. That's going to sort of emphasise his position as one of the leading players in our competition. So I'm going to go.
Yeah, I do think Darryl Clark is a good player. But
he's my tip for man of the match in this one, for Wire to win.
Okay, and how about Halifax and Saints?
I mean, there was serious injury concern raised over Scott Morrell, wasn't there?
Yeah.
That would be the difference between it being 40 points for Saints or 40 points for Saints. I just can't see anything but a big Saints win. I'm going to be a bit more respectful to Halifax and say Saints by 30, but I just can't see anything but them running away with it in the end. What about you?
Well, I've gone for Saints by 44, actually. I've gone Saints 48, Halifax 4.
Yeah, and it wouldn't shock me if it was even more than that.
I know, that's the thing, isn't it? I think fatigue towards the end, especially in the heat, it's going to be a massive thing for Halifax, isn't it? And
when you throw into the mix, they've actually been pretty shit since the semi-final. The quarter-final. They're not in good form. I know it's a totally different environment for them and a totally different occasion. But I just, best will in the world, I can't see any hope for them. I would love to be proved wrong, by the way. Just getting that on if there are any Halifax fans that listen, I don't think there's many, but there might be one or two. I want to get that on record, that I would absolutely piss my pants if they win this game. It would be one of my favourite Rugby League moments ever, but
Joshua would love it if his favourite and his second favourite team got to Wembley.
Exactly. And I assume you'll be hanging around for both of the semi-finals, having made the trip over from...
Sadly, we can't, because Joshua is actually going away on a camp that day and should be leaving from Hull at 10 o'clock in the morning, but obviously is not. So we're going via Bolton.
Okay.
He'll be late arriving, but we can't really stay for the second match and then take him.
But if Halifax are winning, you can stay, yeah.
Yeah.
Also on Saturday, the game that I'm possibly looking forward to the most out of all of them, to be honest, is the Women's Challenge Cup final. Now, it's probably a bit early for the people travelling over from Hull to get there for 11:15. I'm sure you can watch this on your phone as you travel over, though, because I think it's on the online platform for the BBC. This one probably on our league as well, I would guess. 11:15 kickoff for Leeds versus Castleford. It's a repeat of last year's final, which was a closely fought game decided by the brilliance of Lois Forsell, who won't be playing in this game, although Marshall, who's been outstanding for Castleford, is suspended as well. So as well as Lois Forsell being injured for Leeds. So Castleford are missing one of their key players, but Castleford have been very, very good this year. They're unbeaten, they're sat at the top of the league, and they're scoring a lot of points against all comers, really. So I can't see Cass not winning this one. I do think it'll be close, because it's a final and it's two teams with a good rivalry who have got some good players, but I think Cass by 8 is my tip in this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Cass as well. Cass by 12.
Yeah, fair play. Right, there is a championship game next week. It's the game that Rochdale and Dewsbury have to catch up on. Now, if Dewsbury win this one, which we'd all expect them to do, that would really make things tough for Barrow, who are in 13th place. You have to think at this stage, with 5 games remaining in that competition, other than these two teams who have 6 games remaining, Barrow are going to be 3 points behind the team above them, 5 points potentially behind the team above that, and I just don't see them winning most of their games left. So I'm not sure what I'm saying here, but it's more important for Barrow than it is for Rochdale. Dewsbury will win though, won't they?
Yeah,
Rochdale
probably.
are down. It's the 1895 Cup semi-finals as well this weekend on Sunday. Sheffield play Batley and Leigh play Widnes. I think these are both on the R League app. I'm not certain, but I think they are. So let's pick these ones. Sheffield Batley. Who do you have in that one?
Sheffield.
Yeah, I agree. They're probably just the better side, even though they're not in brilliant form at the moment. Neither are Batley. And then the other one, the big semi-final, probably the two teams that we would have wanted to be kept apart for a showpiece final lineup potentially. Leigh versus Widnes. Leigh, who sponsor the competition. Sorry, Leigh, who have links to the sponsors of the competition, and Widnes, who put up a fantastic effort with a young side, and will be able to bring in hopefully a couple more experienced players for this semi-final as well. Where do you see this semi-final going?
I'm going to go for Leigh.
Yeah, my head says Leigh, but I want Widnes to win, even though they booed. Just so that when they lift the trophy at Wembley, all the Toronto fans that'll be there. Well, some Toronto fans might be there. Basically, anyone who's there when they lift that trophy, boos them, please. That would be ideal. No, tit for tat is not a way to go. But I think Widnes, and I want Widnes to win. I want Widnes fans to have something good. Yeah,
it would be nice.
We do have a League One game next week as well being played in the middle of the semi-final showdowns, and that's Hunslet versus Whitehaven. Yeah, I don't know why Hunslet chose to play on that at that time. Obviously, stadium availability must have limited them, but weird choice. NRL Brit picks Rabbitohs versus Dragons on Friday at 10:55. James Graham should be playing. I'm not sure if any of the Burgesses will be back. Titans versus Broncos Saturday at 8:30am. You never know. In that Queensland derby, we could have no British players. We could have 2 British players. We'll wait and see. Bulldogs versus the Roosters Sunday at 5am. Ryan Hall, let's see if he can finally start scoring some tries as well as making lots of meters. And then it's the Panthers versus the Raiders Sunday at 7:05am. Make sure you do get your fan reviews in on all of the games that you see next weekend, particularly obviously those Challenge Cup semi-finals and the Women's Challenge Cup final. Everyone get around that game and make it a big success. That's pretty much a show done. We've just got a bit of a quiz to do.
Yay!
And then we'll say goodbye. Quiz time then for this episode of Super League Pod is obviously Challenge Cup themed. Got 3 questions for you. I'm not sure which one's the most difficult, but I think you'll do well this week, Sarah.
6 words.
There you go. I think Dr. Bob will do terribly. So
that's not much of a prediction, is it?
Things won't. Yeah, the world will keep turning. Basically, is what I'm saying. Hull FC and Warrington last played each other in a cup semi-final in 2013. Which current Warrington player scored for Hull FC in that game?
It's got to be Tom Lynham, hasn't it?
Yes, it has got to be Tom Lynham. Correct. See, my confidence wasn't misplaced. So, question 2. Which 2 of this season's 4 semi-final clubs played out a 0-0 draw in the 1987-1988 Cup semis?
Was that Hull and Halifax?
It was Hull and Halifax, indeed. Yes, so 2 out of 2. Halifax won the replay 4-3 and lost to Wigan at Wembley. It was the start of Wigan's triumphant 8 in a row. That was. So 2 games and you couldn't score a try.
Before I started watching.
Yeah, Halifax had won the cup the year before, actually. So it was a good time for Halifax in those days. Right, 3rd question then. And I want you to rank the 4 sides in order of who has the best Challenge Cup final win percent. I didn't sit down and work out all the Challenge Cup semi-finals they've played in. So, which of the 4 sides that are playing this weekend, I want you to rank the order of the one that has the best win percentage in Challenge Cup finals through to the one that has the worst win percentage in Challenge Cup finals.
Percentage.
Yeah, because I tried to split them by other means, like who'd played in the most finals, who'd won the most finals, who'd lost the most finals, and that sort of stuff. And there was so many where people had the same numbers. That percentage was the only way to actually rank them.
Right.